During the 2020 lockdowns, Kelly and I made this podcast to talk about the movies that we love while bored at home. We tried so many different ways to record and edit, but found it difficult and we experienced some bad sound quality until we found Zencaster. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen, knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. If you have thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencaster's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. So go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use our code SYTYI, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all of our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
Hey guys, you've heard us talk about how we want to live our lives in balance with our hectic work lives to getting a workout in and treating our bodies better. I've been changing my routine up at the gym and getting myself to eat better. And one thing I'm adding is Liquid IV. In one stick, I'm getting 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than if I drank water alone. It's great for those tough workouts where I need an extra boost or when I'm feeling a little run down after a long day at work. I love how on the go this packaging is. I throw a few in my gym or my work bag and it takes up zero space. And the taste is amazing. Since it's summertime, I'm reaching more for strawberry lemonade. And with other great summer flavors like watermelon and guava, there's something for everyone. And it's not just the flavor that will have you grabbing for more. Like I said, Liquid IV contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, and B12, and vitamin C. And it's made with premium ingredients. So, if you want to up your hydration game this summer, get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use our code SYTYI at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using our code SYTYI at liquidiv.com.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to So You Think You're Iconic. I had to get my stomach in check. It was rumbling for no reason.
I thought you were talking to me at first.
Oh, no.
I was like, am I making a noise and I just don't know it right now?
No. It was my stomach. Like, literally,
Okay.
I was fine. I pressed, like, record, and all of a sudden it went, and I was like, no, stop that.
It's like, no, we're not doing that right now.
Not right now. I literally just ate, and it was just oatmeal. Like, calm down. Yeah. Well, how you been, Kelly?
I've been all right. I feel like I haven't been sleeping well for the past week, and that's not great.
No.
Yeah, I need to find a way to shut my brain off without having to take melatonin every night.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like
not good.
shut down, like the goose fraba, whatever.
Maybe you need to try sleeping with like some white noise. Maybe that'll drown out all the
I
thoughts
sleep
and
with white noise.
Oh, well. Let's
Yep,
try sleeping with nothing. Let's try that next.
I mean, it's part of my routine though. Like I always sleep with white noise, and I always have it like because this is just how it works for me. I have it just loud enough that I can barely hear it, and so I have to focus on the noise, and that's what makes me fall asleep sometimes if I'm having a hard time. But it hasn't been working, and it makes me
Okay.
really sad. So we're gonna have to find something else. Because I even
Yeah, we're
tried
not.
reading last night. I tried reading, and that's what made me tired. But like, and I've been trying other things throughout the week, but
Oh, reading
I
in my bed will have me knocked out.
exactly. So I read and like I'd get tired, and then I'm like, oh yeah. So I like put my phone down, and then like I get comfortable, and then immediately my eyes are like open. I'm like, oh, I'm fully awake again. Like, what is going on?
Maybe try reading something you've read already and just keep reading it until you like
Oh,
actually fall asleep. That way, if you
true.
lose your place, it won't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because anything new, and I'll want to keep reading it.
You'll want
Okay,
to
that makes
keep
sense.
reading it. Yeah, read something old.
All right, that
Crack
makes
out an
sense.
old Harry Potter book and just
Yeah,
start reading that.
I guess. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'll try that. But yeah, I am. I have been absolutely like tired. But the good thing is, at work, I have been like not super busy. Like
Oh my god, me
it'll
too.
come in waves.
Like I said, Kelly and I are like on like the same wavelength when it comes to work.
We are like it's come in waves this week. So like during the day, I'll have like maybe 30 minutes to an hour of like just slow work that comes in, but like I can get that done in like a couple minutes, and then like I'm free. And then
Hmm.
like another hour will go by, and then like a little bit more work comes in, so it keeps me busy for like the next hour. But like it's manageable. I can get it done, and at the end of the day, like I don't have anything because I have a little basket where I keep my work. And like my basket's empty, and it makes me feel so relieved at the end of the day because I'm like, I don't have to walk in tomorrow and there's just a pile of stuff at my desk.
Yeah, that's nice. I had like I had an okay week too.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that too. Like I would have things that like I had to do, but then I would like finish it, and then I would just
Mm-hmm.
like have like a chill day. Thursday and Friday. Thursday was a little bit more work
Mm.
than Friday, but Friday by like 1 o'clock, I had nothing to do.
Really?
I watched two movies on Friday at work.
Dang.
Like
I think my Friday was a little busy.
there was no one in the office. And then
Wow.
I would like no one. I was like, what's going on? Like something has to be going on.
No, seriously.
Apparently this weekend was Lollapalooza. I was like, that makes sense. Actually,
Oh,
when
okay,
I
that does
think
make
about it.
sense.
And it started on Thursday, and I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like,
Yeah.
because no one was here.
Yeah. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, peace out, I'm going to Lollapalooza.
Like I knew something had to be happening, but I don't keep up with festivals, so like I didn't know it was Lollapalooza until I went on Hulu on Friday and they like were
Oh,
playing
uh-huh.
Lollapalooza sets. I was like,
Yeah.
there we go.
There, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I love how we're not in the festival scene.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I tried it. I tried it.
You did.
I can't do it.
It seems exhausting.
It's exhausting. There's nowhere to sit. You can't leave.
Yeah, you can't.
It's awful.
Shout out to y'all who do it though.
Mhm.
You do you.
My coworker talked about how he went to Coachella one time and how they had to like sleep in the desert, and I was like, that sounds awful.
Oh yeah, I will never go to Coachella.
Yeah,
Like I know people are like, you just gotta like go to like experience it. I'm like, no, I'm good. There are other
right.
places I'd rather camp than in the middle of the desert where there's a bunch of other people that are just getting drunk, being loud, and it's just
Yeah,
dusty.
I'm not signing up for that.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Like the only way I would ever do Coachella, I would have to be like a celebrity. Like I would have
Yeah,
to be
you're right.
helicoptered in.
Yeah.
I'd have to have the like VIP section with like the shade and like the drinks that you don't have to wait in line for, and like
Hmm.
the specific area where you can see the stage.
Also, that's
And
a
then
lot of money.
yeah.
Like, because if you're
So
not camping, like on the actual whatever it's called, area, whatever campus,
festival grounds, yeah.
festival grounds, like Airbnbs are expensive
Hmm.
because they know it's Coachella, so they're jacking the prices up and people buy it. I'm just like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
You
I
already
couldn't
bought
do
the
it.
tickets, then you got to buy food when you're there. You got to buy drinks when you're there. Like, it's
Right.
insane.
The festival I went to was relatively close to my house and it was expensive.
Hmm. Yeah,
So I can't imagine being in the middle of the desert.
yeah, I can't.
No.
I think that's just, and then you're just dirty all the time. I just It would make
Oh
me
yeah,
flaky.
I hate being dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I hate being dirty so much. I went when I was little. I went camping for like a week long camping trip in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Hmm. I
Okay.
can say that because they don't do it in Wisconsin anymore, so you can't
Okay.
figure out what it is. Um,
Okay. This is so interesting that it's in Wisconsin.
yeah, it was interesting, and literally every day I felt so gross, and I refused to go to bed without taking a shower.
Oh, yeah.
So I would literally stay up until like the middle of the night when there was no line for the shower, and I would go take a shower before I went to bed
Wow.
because I was not going to bed sweaty and dirty. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, festivals are not for me.
Mm-mm.
Also, I think I'm done with camping. Like, I think I've been camping enough
Really?
in my childhood. I don't need to go camping
Okay.
anymore.
All right.
Another reason not to have children, because then I would feel obligated to take them camping, and I don't want to do that anymore.
I mean,
But
yeah.
but yeah, anything else happened, Kelly?
No, that's it. Just me being very sleepy all week.
Oh, well, here's hoping you get some sleep tonight.
Me too. I'll ask somebody to even physically knock me out if like nothing else works.
If you get really desperate, you could try some Nyquil.
Jesus
Just
Christ. Ah,
just take it like at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yeah, I was about to say. Just gonna have a little shot of NyQuil with my dinner.
Hmm.
Wait, I'd have to shower first, so because I know that NyQuil hits, bro.
Take it right before you get in the shower. That way, when you're in the shower,
Ooh.
you start to get tired,
Mm.
and then you just finish up whatever you got to finish up.
Yeah, and then I just have enough energy to do my skincare, and then just
Yeah,
like
and
collapse
then
into
drag
bed.
yourself into bed. Yep.
Yes. Oh, maybe I will stop by like Target, see if they have anything.
Keep your parents on standby in case you like pass out in the hallway.
If you hear something crash down, it's me. Just
It's
check on me,
me.
please.
Just pick me up and put me in my bed.
Right, I didn't pass out for any other reason than I just took a shot of NyQuil.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as for me, um, so this week I was watching a movie on Disney Channel. It was on Disney Channel, and I was like watching it, and so I kept watching the ads, and I was like, were the ads always like this? Because I don't feel like the ads were like this.
What
They're
happened?
like they're like generic toys, and like I feel like that wasn't it when we watched Disney Channel.
I
I feel
mean,
like I feel like when we watched Disney Channel, it was like ads for other Disney shows. It was ads for Disney movies. It was interviews with like Disney cast members
it was new music
and
and music
music
videos.
videos and
Yeah,
um Radio Disney ads, which does not
yeah.
exist anymore. It was like,
No,
oh, aged myself there.
no, seriously.
Um ads for like the theme parks and the cruise line, and
Did I send
now
you that TikTok about the Disney ads?
I don't think so. But
Okay,
now it's just like generic toys that like 4-year-olds play with, and I'm like, is that your new demographic? 4-year-olds?
that's interesting. That feels more like like a Cartoon Network kind of pull and like Nickelodeon kind of like
Yes,
ad.
that's exactly what I wrote in my notes. I was like,
Really?
this was how Nickelodeon used to be. So I'm
No,
very
yeah.
confused how they like switched their like ad thing.
Yeah, because the minute they went to ad, it was always like, here's the new Bionicle, or here's what's like for like everything else but Disney. It was like, here's a new like a toy ad. Here's the Fushigi.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
like Zoo Pals plates, and then like if you go to Disney, it's all Disney
It
related
was all
ads.
Disney ads, but no, not anymore. Even if they had like food ads or like toy ads, it used to be like Disney toys and
Yeah.
Disney tie-in ads. These were just
Hmm.
regular toy ads. I was like, what's going on?
That's so interesting. I wonder
It
when that
was
happened.
right?
Because I
So
feel like
strange to
even
me.
like as I got older and like something would pop up on Disney Channel, like when I was in high school or something, and it was like a movie, I'd put it on. The I feel like
Hmm.
the ads were still like Disney ads. At least some of them were still Disney ads.
I mean, some of them still were, but it wasn't as much
It
as it used to
wasn't
be.
okay, huh?
Like occasionally, like maybe like right before the movie would come back on, there would be like watch it would, and it wouldn't be like one specific show. It would just be like a group of shows. Like they would just
Oh,
throw in all of the shows that they have. So one Disney movie that is currently in theaters, um, ad.
okay,
But other than that, it was just like toys. It
that's
was
so
very,
interesting.
it was very weird.
Did they have a park ad for the for
Nope, I did
Halloween
not.
coming up?
Nope, I did not see a single Disneyland, Disney World ad the
I
entire
because
time I was watching that
I
movie.
feel like those are like the first like holiday ads you see. It's always Disney because they
I
always
saw.
start Halloween early.
I've I've started rewatching Desperate Housewives, and I've seen the Halloween ad while I was watching Desperate Housewives.
Oh, so you've
But that
actually seen it? I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen it like 5 times now.
Oh, jeez.
But if you've if you've seen it within the last 5 6 years, it's the same ad. So
It's the one with the
with Oogie Boogie
yeah.
over California Adventure because they moved it to California Adventure for some dumb reason.
I know they're moving a lot of like the better decoration stuff to California Adventure.
Don't. I remember the first year they did that. I was like, that was the dumbest idea y'all ever had. Like, why?
Is it because there's like technically more like space for
No.
like
I don't know.
because I feel
I,
like there's like all that open space by on Pixar Pier. You've got all that open space by The Little Mermaid.
I
So I
feel
feel like
like
you could put more like prop stuff up.
I feel like somehow it was cheaper because they have like less rides.
Oh,
I feel like that's the reason. They were like, we can charge you the
oh,
same price, but it's cheaper to do it in California Adventure,
interesting.
and then we can keep Disneyland open longer, so the people who
Mm.
paid regular price for tickets can stay longer and spend more money.
Yeah.
But that's just my big brain conspirizing.
And then the thing you really want to see, a haunted mansion, is in Disneyland.
Yeah, their version of Haunted Mansion is like a special version of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Like that's their version of the Haunted Mansion at the California Adventure Halloween party.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, I went with Sabrina. I was like, didn't we go on it? That was Sabrina.
Oh,
Sorry.
I've never been to the holiday edition of
I
Disneyland in
like
California.
I they have a Christmas version and a Halloween version. I've never been on the Christmas version. I like the Halloween version. It's
Yeah,
fun. Hmm.
I feel like the Halloween ones are better for some reason.
I love the Halloween version of Space Mountain. Can we bring that back? Like, what? Where did it go?
Oh, what did they do?
It's not there anymore. They used to do it every year.
Oh,
Last time I went, it wasn't there.
interesting.
Bring it back. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. But yeah, and then of course there's the Halloween slash Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion.
I love that.
Very good, very good. But yeah, Disney, what's going on?
Yeah, just asking. You're kind of slacking a little bit.
Yeah, you're slacking. Also, the shows that you had advertised, the few shows that I saw looked awful.
Oh no.
Like, why is Bunked still on TV? My sister watched that in elementary school. Why is it still on?
Whoa.
Like, what? Because
Yeah,
Bunked is a
that's
spin off of Jessie. Jessie was a show I watched towards the very end of my Disney
yeah.
days.
I think Jessie was the last like Disney show that I watched.
And then they spinned it off into Bunked. And now the original kids aren't even on that show anymore.
Oh,
And it's still on. It's been on for like almost 10 years.
was Good Luck Charlie the same time as Jessie?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like Good Luck Charlie is the last show I like finished. Because
Okay, because
I didn't finish Jesse.
I didn't finish Jesse. I think I did finish Good Luck Charlie. I did like Good Luck Charlie.
Good Luck
That
Charlie
was a
was
cute one.
good. I think I rewatched it a while
Did you?
ago. Yeah, I was rewatching some shows on Disney Plus. I rewatched Ant Farm.
Oh
That's
my
so
gosh, yeah.
that's so Raven. I tried rewatching Lizzie McGuire. It does not hold up.
Really?
It's actually very cringy. Like if you try to watch Lizzie
Oh.
McGuire, it's very cringy.
No, yeah, okay.
What else did I rewatch? Wizards of Waverly Plays,
Ooh, I low key want to do that.
and then Good Luck Charlie. I rewatched Good Luck Charlie. It was good. So yeah, everybody go like rewatch your old childhood shows.
Yeah. Maybe
But
go try and heal your inner child through children's form of media that you weren't allowed to watch when you were little,
mhm.
or that you just never finished.
And that you never finished. But yeah, Disney might be like money laundering. I'll need to figure that out one day.
I feel like that's your go-to for every company.
What?
That's your go-to.
Oh yeah, because some are money laundering. One movie that recently came out like last month has to have been money laundering. There's no way that movie cost almost $300 million.
I know you can't say it, but like which one? Like, oh, really?
There is no way that movie cost almost $300 million, Kelly. And then they'll be like, "Oh, COVID brought up the price of the movie." I'm like, it brought it. Like I looked up the price of the last movie. It brought it up over $100 million.
Over 100 mil.
The last movie cost 178 million.
What the actual
This
heck?
movie cost 300 million or like 291 million. I'm like, there's no way.
What the heck?
Like someone is skimming money off the top because it's not making any sense.
Yeah, no.
And actually, if you look at the old movie, it at the last movie, it looks more expensive than this one. Like they did more stuff in the last movie, so I'm
Maybe
very
it's
confused.
location.
It can't be. They
No.
filmed this like during like the lockdowns, so
Oh,
like I'm sure no country was like, you need to spend all this money to come shoot here.
yeah. They're probably like, please, I'll do anything.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to do an investigation. There's money laundering happening,
Okay. All right.
and don't get me started on.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, also last night, I love how we're
Uh-huh.
20 minutes in. I'm not even done with my week. Last last night, my
Uh-huh.
mom went out to hang out with some like cousins
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me if I wanted to go, and I always ask who's going to be there,
Yeah.
like always. And then she told me, and it was like nothing but like old people, and I was like, I'm not going to that.
Yeah. There are just some functions where you just don't go.
Yeah, and so I'm just like hanging out around the house. I go for a walk. I um, watch TV, um, and I'm one of my cousins texts me, and she's like, "Why am I here at this event with all these old people?" And I was like, "You
Oh
went?" I was like, "You
no.
went to this?"
Oh no.
I was like, "You didn't ask who was coming
Right.
before you went." So yeah, she was stuck there with a whole bunch of
Oh
old people, and it
no.
was like one of the, you know how we went to that 80s party and it was full of old people. That's what she was going through, but
Oh
by
no.
herself.
Oh no, by yourself too. That's the
uh,
worst.
it's the
Oh
worst.
no.
But yeah, so she was like sending me photos of like stuff that was happening and like what the place looked like, and then she mentioned that they were going to go get food after, and so I was like, food. And so I texted my mom and I was like, I heard y'all were getting food. Are y'all getting food? And I didn't hear anything back for like 5 ish minutes, 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
and I got a text back, and I read it, and I got very concerned. I was like, "Do I need to go pick her up?" Because I
Oh,
couldn't
what?
understand what it said. It says, "Who's your uncle? You too late."
What?
And I was like, "What?" Like I got a little concerned, and then
Yeah.
like 2 minutes later, my mom called me, and she was like, "Your uncle texted you that he's drunk," and I was like, "Oh."
Oh.
And so now I understand what he was trying to say. He was trying to say, "This is your uncle. You're too late."
Yeah.
I was literally about to grab my keys and go pick her up.
You're like grabbing your keys, grabbing your phone, or like, what's your location? Drop it.
Oh, I
I'm
already
picking you
already
up.
have her already have her location on my phone.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
How many people actually do that? Have their location?
I only do it to my mom. I should do it to my sister, but
You should do it to your sister. So at least somebody knows where she is.
I never know where she is ever.
See, and that's why at least one of you needs to have her location.
Like literally, she just disappears sometimes. I'm just like, I. She hasn't been home all week. Who knows what she's been doing?
What?
I She's been like staying at my aunt's house. I literally don't
Oh.
know.
I'm like, does anybody know where she is?
I really don't know what she's been doing all week.
But she's alive.
And she's stuck there at my aunt's house with my grandpa because my aunt is at a family reunion right now. And
Mm.
so we will never know where she is. He won't ask questions.
Mm-mm. Absolutely not.
She will just leave and he won't know where she is. And since she like boards herself in a room, he'll never even go check to see if she's alive.
Oh my god.
And so who knows where she'll be? My sister literally is growing up like an '80s kid, just
No, seriously.
disappearing,
And then coming back at
coming
random
back
hours of the
at
day.
random date, random time. Yeah, I'll call her
Good for her.
sometimes. I'll call her sometimes, and I'll hear like stuff in the background. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she'll be like, "Oh, I'm out with some person who I don't know," and I'm like, "Who?"
Girl.
So yeah,
Yeah, someone needs to have that location.
I need to work on that. I need to get her location in my phone.
Like I don't have any locations for any of my family members.
Oh no, like throughout the day, I track my mother.
I know one of my friends, he has location I think for his whole family, and I'm just sitting there like, is that what people do? People just have your location?
You
No,
probably
no, no.
should.
I lied. I do have one person's location.
Oh,
I do have one
okay.
person's location, but I don't think she has mine.
Okay. I don't think anyone has mine, but I have my mother's. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Crazy week, right? So much fun.
Very
So much
crazy.
fun. Very crazy. Um, okay, Kelly. I think it's time for you to tell us about Now You See Me.
That's actually not. Can I go put a little bit more creamer in my coffee,
Uh, Sure.
please? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Kelly, tell us about the movie.
Okay. So this week we are doing Now You See Me. And we start this movie with a little narration that tells us that magicians use our attention against us. So they like draw us in close, make us watch them when their hands and whatever. But the trick is happening elsewhere. And so we see one magician, Danny, doing tricks on the street as somebody watches him. And this is all happening in Chicago. In New Orleans, a mentalist uh, does a, I don't know any like words for hypnotism or mentalism, whatever this is.
He hypnotizes a woman.
Yeah, he hypnotizes a woman and then like quote unquote reads the husband
Hmm.
in like his mind and basically outs that he's having an affair with his wife's sister,
Which is disgusting.
which is disgusting. And scams him for $200 and
Yeah,
says and goes back to the woman who's been hypnotized and tells her that she'll forget everything about the conversation they just had. And when she wakes up, she doesn't know that her husband's having an affair. And the husband goes to find an ATM to give him the $200 to keep the secret.
I need to know how he hypnotized that woman. I need
Right.
to know how that works.
Yeah. Does hypnotism work? Is that like an actual thing?
I don't think it works. I've always thought it was like a setup. Like you would bring up people
Yeah.
like who are working with you
Mm.
to make it seem like you're hypnotizing them.
Hmm.
I've always thought it was that.
I think I like read something after watching this movie. I love this movie, by the way. Like after watching it one time, and I actually looked it up, and I think it's people who want to believe that it's real, then they'll like be susceptible to it or whatever. However that works,
Mm.
it's kind of like that. Remember that magic trick or whatever it was? It 2020 where you like everyone around you pretended that you were invisible, but you weren't.
What was that?
You don't remember that? Like
No.
you put like your sibling in a chair and you get all your other siblings around and they're like, I'm gonna do a magic trick on you. And then like you like magic them that they're invisible, and then everyone else who's in on it is like, oh my gosh, they're gone. And like, you know, like the little sibling would be like, no, I'm right here, blah blah blah. And they're like, I can hear them, but I can't see them. You know what I mean? Like everyone's in on it but them, so they think it's real.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's like how hypnotism works. Like if you believe it's real, then like it you think it's real.
Okay.
Um, in New York, a guy is doing magic on a ferry when he is quote unquote caught. Um, and the guy who catches him, he steals his wallet and his watch and gets off the ferry before he's caught.
Yeah.
In LA, a woman sticks herself in a water tank, stuck in handcuffs on her wrists and her ankles. And her the whole trick is that she can get out in a minute, and if she doesn't, then piranhas are going to fall on her and eat her. But halfway through her trick, she can't get out and starts freaking out, and the crowd tries to get her out, but it doesn't work. The piranhas drop on her, but she's been in the crowd the whole time.
I Two things. I love Isla Fisher, but her American accent is so forced in this movie. Like I
Yeah,
can literally hear her pronouncing words.
I feel like for some uh, actors that have accents, like in some movies, for some reason, you can tell like they're over pronouncing words.
Like especially when she said whoever came up with this was a sick sadist. I was like,
Yeah,
girl, could you
sick
have
sadist.
sick sadist? And I'm like, girl. But yeah, also this is a trick that has me dumbfounded the most. How did she
Yeah,
do that?
same. Yeah, how did she do that?
It was, I mean, it's very obvious that she loves the movie The Prestige because how?
Yeah.
Because I've literally been trying to like wrap this around my mind every single time I've watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, maybe there's like something at the bottom
False
that she goes
floor.
through, but I was
But
like,
then the
but then all the
water.
water would go out. I'm like, I need to understand how she did this.
Like I feel like there's some sort of change um when the water turns red. But
Yeah,
where does she
but
go?
where does she go
Because
without the
you can't do
water moving?
you can't do a bottom floor like a no floor situation because there's water,
Yeah,
and you can't do any side door because it's all glass in the middle of a room.
yeah. Is it like a body double? But then
But then where do they go?
where do they go, and how do you switch them out? I don't know. I'm really hoping one of your movie facts has an answer. I'm pretty sure it doesn't,
It
but
does. um, but yeah, we don't know how it works, but she's alive and well. She's just
she
out in the
did it.
crowd.
Also, she seems to draw in a pretty big crowd, so I don't understand how she's seen as a small time magician.
Yeah,
That was like a warehouse full of people.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people in there. I don't know. Maybe the magic scene is bigger than we think.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. I feel like that's the only way that like works.
I
Like if
personally
there's so
wouldn't
many
care.
people, yeah, that like you get lost in the crowd. Anyway, we're back with Danny, and he takes home one of the girls from the crowd, the girl that he did the magic trick on, but stops making out with her when he finds a tarot card in his apartment with an address. And so do the other magicians and the mentalist. Henley and Danny are the first to arrive at the address and run into Merritt, and they all get to know one another. Henley and Danny know each other because Henley was his assistant, but they had some sort of falling out, and Merritt tries to read both of them.
Hmm.
But they can't get into the apartment because the door is locked until Jack arrives and just straight up breaks into the apartment.
Yeah.
Inside the apartment, it's empty and very rundown, but they find a note and plans for a new show.
So, how long do you think it took to like set all that like room up with like the floor and like
A
the
very long time.
ice? Also, how did they like set it up so that like the ice didn't like evaporate before they got there?
Maybe it's in a special, because I know it's dry ice. Maybe they where the dry ice is, it's a special insulated compartment.
Okay, sure. Okay.
It has to be. Also, how do you rig? Because it's a live apartment. How do you put something in the floor of an apartment?
No idea.
Because
No idea.
you have to construct that. You had to have people come in and work on that and set that
Hmm.
all up, make sure it all worked.
Uh, who knows?
Who knows? Okay. So 1 year later in Vegas, Danny, Merritt, Henley, and Jack are now the four horsemen. Then they are doing their last trick of the night, and it's to rob a bank while a man in the audience is recording them.
Yeah, they somehow within a year went from being
Mm-hmm.
street performers
Mm-hmm.
to having a show at the MGM Grand.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah,
Like you can't just be anybody to be invited to do a show at the MGM.
and also it's packed, like
It's
completely packed.
packed. Like I
Like
know they talk about it and they say that most of the seats were bought in by Tressler and people were invited to fill the seats, but I don't think I think maybe 10% of that might have been like invited people, and the rest were like actual buying customers.
there's no way Tesla paid for everyone in there to be there. Like there
Mm-hmm.
were thousands of people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the point of putting on this show if you're paying for everything?
Right. So they're the amount of people that he did invite, they're probably really small, and the rest are actually
Hmm. Which is insane. I didn't know that many people were interested in magic.
right. And so, what were their like acts to get there? I kind of want a backstory on like
Hmm.
that year.
Also, I don't know if it was just me, but the show looked kind of boring. At least this first show did. It was mostly just them talking to people and like
You know
jumping around
what?
the stage.
I mean, it is their last one, so maybe like they just took their time with it.
Okay. Because like the next show looks much more interesting. But
Yeah, yeah. Because I think it's because we saw the whole show, and then
mm,
we get to the big finale. But I think it just looked boring because we hadn't seen the rest of the show.
okay, sure. I'll take that. Also, why are they only performing in Las Vegas once?
Yeah, right.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, because when you sign up for Vegas, you sign up for
Like
a
months.
while. Yeah.
They just did one show with like a lot of production and then just left. Just packed everything up and left.
Yeah. Maybe
And
they're
went to
trying
a
to keep being exclusive.
and then went to a whole another city on the other side of the country with an entirely different setup.
Yeah, and it's a much smaller
Much
theater.
smaller theater.
Like, ouch. Um, but yeah, for their last trick, a random member in the audience is chosen, a Frenchman, and he is brought on stage. While that happens, the other three horsemen thank their benefactor, Arthur Tressler. We see Merritt get Etienne, who's the Frenchman that was brought on stage, um, into like a state because we kind of see him like do his little hypnotism thing on him. Um, and they get him to pick and sign a card that he keeps on him.
Yeah.
They put Etienne into a contraption with a headgear and seemingly send him to France to a vault in his bank, Credit Republic.
So, Arthur Tressler sounds like the most villain name I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds like a
Yeah.
comic book villain
Sounds like a
that
Batman or
Batman, exactly,
yeah.
that Batman would be fighting.
Yeah, Batman with his Batman villain with his monocle, his top hat, Arthur
Uh-huh.
Tressler.
I love how you just described the Penguin, but we're just like,
Yes. Yes.
actually, his name is
The
Tressler.
penguin's real name is Arthur Tressler.
It's Arthur Tressler. Secondly, Etienne looks like Robert Downey Jr. When I first
Yeah.
saw this movie, I thought it was a Robert Downey Jr. cameo.
Really? Did you?
Yes, it's not.
He looks yeah, he's more of like a fuller, like filled out, like European RDJ.
Mm-hmm. Like
Which I
if
can see that now.
if Robert Downey Jr. was French, he would be Etienne.
Yeah, he would. So they they get like live footage of him in the vault, and they get him to leave his ticket and his card with the money. At the same time, we see that Credit Republic is about to open as Etienne pushes a button on his headgear that transfers the money through a vent into a duct and directly to Vegas, where it's raining on the audience. And when the Credit Republic goes to check their vault, it's empty. And the signed
Mm-hmm.
card and the ticket is left.
Yeah. The most unrealistic part of this movie is that a bank in Paris opened on time. Like that's quite literally the most unrealistic thing that ever happened in this movie.
Every magic trick believable. A bank opening up on time.
Uh-huh. In Paris? Please. You know those people don't show up till like 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm. That bank opens at 8. Nope, it opens at 10:30.
It opens at 10:30.
If you're lucky, and then there's only 2 workers there. The
There's
rest are still in the back.
there's two workers there. They're about to take an hour and a half lunch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
The
you have
manager will
it.
show up at 1 for maybe an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Go home.
Yeah.
Which is how it goes.
That's just how it goes.
I want to run on French work hours.
I feel like every other country but America works like that. Because when I went to Mexico, we went to like try to go get lunch
Mm-hmm.
like around town. Every place was closed.
Well,
like
don't they
like
have
like like they had signs that said they were supposed to be open. Every place was closed.
well, like in like South America and like any in like the Spanish speaking countries, don't they have like that hour after like their like technical like lunch hour that like they have to rest? Isn't that like a thing? I feel like
I,
I've heard that that's a thing.
I have no idea. But like every country I've gone to, when they say they're supposed to be open, they are not open.
It's a
They,
guessing game.
it's a guessing game.
You show up, and if they're open, you go in. If they're not, you go home,
Your
or
your
you find
best
somewhere else.
your best chance is like 3 o'clock. I feel like 3 o'clock everyone will be open, but before that it's a gamble.
I would be happier at work if I got 1 hour for lunch and then an hour after that to recover from lunch and then go
Hmm.
back to work.
Yeah.
I would be a much happier worker, if I'm being honest. Um, So we see money raining down on the audience, and the four thank the crowd and make their exit. In Vegas, FBI agent Dylan gets a call about the four horsemen as Agent Fuller arrests them the next day.
I feel like this would be a CIA situation, not FBI. But like we've said multiple times on this podcast, seemingly Hollywood does not know the
They don't know
difference
how the
between the two
yeah,
agencies.
they don't know how any of the three-letter agencies work, and they're just all like, I hear FBI most of the time, so let's just throw the FBI in there every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Like
I
this
I have
was
yet to see a movie where it's all like, let's throw the CIA in there consistently.
right, like this is not a federal crime.
It's not.
This this is a crime that happened in another country. Like this has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the FBI. What
Yeah. I
happens what happens later, maybe you could like depending on
maybe you could argue for an FBI investigation, but
but even then I still think it's CIA territory.
it's most likely CIA territory, for being honest. So Dylan is upset for being called off of the case that he's currently working on and stuck with the magicians and a new agent, Dre, from Interpol. Dylan interviews Etienne and he believes that the magic is real. He believes that he went to France, he stole money, and he came back to Vegas.
Mhm.
And while the agents are talking, is triggered by the word bullshit, and he believes that he is in an orchestra playing a violin. So they have to wait for him to go through his whole motion of it.
Mhm.
Um, Agent Dre is upset with how Dylan is treating her and like basically dismissing her from this whole case. Um,
Yeah.
but he allows her to help him interview the horseman. So Dylan and Dre interview Merritt and Danny, but it goes nowhere. Like they just keep talking them in circles. And so eventually the four are released.
Yeah. Also, what's his name? Merritt accuses one of the FBI
Fuller.
agents. That's his name?
Yeah.
Fuller. I just know him as the guy from House of Cards. Um, of liking to dress up as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be true. So
It might be true.
it might be true. We never got a clear answer, but it was looking like it was true.
Yeah.
He looked very
Very
embarrassed.
uncomfortable. And the fact that he went through all the links to tell Dylan and Dre that, like, everything that man is saying is a lie.
It's a lie.
If he
Yeah,
brings something up about me,
it's a lie.
it's a lie.
It's not scientifically proven that he knows what he's
Right.
talking about. So
Yeah,
please,
there's nothing involved in what he's doing. It's just a guessing game.
yeah, don't believe him.
He just likes to guess that I like to dress up as a woman.
Hmm. And my wife
That's
may
all.
or may not know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, as the four horsemen are released, Dylan is now fully invested because he's like, I don't want to look like an idiot in front of these magicians. He doesn't believe in magicians, and now he doesn't want to look like an idiot in front of them. Um, and as he's talking to, I think it's Agent Evan, um, Fuller comes by and says that Thaddeus Bradley was filming in the audience that night and has like the whole thing so that they can watch it. They go to interview Thaddeus, and as they're interviewing him, he says he stopped being a magician because he didn't want to lie to people.
That's not why. But Bradley is a true hater, and I really admire him for that. Like, some people just hate from the sidelines. He was like, no, if I can't do it, neither can you.
Yeah, he's hating out in public.
Hmm.
Yeah, full on.
Full
Just
on.
hating out in public.
Just hating.
Yeah. I love that for him. And he gets paid well to hate
And he
on
gets
people.
paid well to hate on people. You
I'd
know
like to get paid
what?
well to hate on people.
You know what? Forget scamming. Let's all be haters
Yeah. Let's just talk beef in front of everybody, make beef, and get paid for it.
and get paid for it.
Why not?
TMZ does it all the time.
Exactly. Exactly. And so do most like celebrity driven
Hmm.
news.
Y'all remember World Star? That was their whole platform.
Yep. But Thaddeus is a hater, a certified hater.
Certified hater.
And so he
Trademarked.
de- so he debunks magicians instead for a living. Um, Dylan doesn't believe in what he's talking about with the magicians, doesn't believe in what he does, but he's willing to take them to look at the stage. So Dylan, Dre, and Thaddeus go back to the stage, and he shows the agents that there is a vault underneath the stage, and it was rigged for Etienne to be picked, and how the money was stolen by the group weeks before. He didn't give a timeline, but it was stolen before the money was transferred to the bank, and that's how the ticket and the signed card were put in the vault in
Yeah,
France.
and they also used like an incendiary
Suggestion.
an
Oh yeah,
incendiary
incendiary
device
paper.
to like burn so that when they got down there, there was nothing left but the card and the
Hmm. And
ticket.
how the real money was funneled into Vegas.
But I have a question.
Yes,
Did they just not touch this money for weeks?
right.
Like no one made any withdrawals in Paris.
No,
No one counted the money to make sure it was the appropriate amount.
this is the vault to the vault.
They don't they don't check the money when they receive it. Like what?
I guess not. Also, the fact that that money was on on a metal pallet, and they
Uh-huh.
just hoped to God that the card and the ticket stayed on the metal
Yeah,
crate, because there's just a bunch of lines on that thing, and they had to like, we have to make sure it lays just right.
just right.
But yeah, that there is. I feel like it's a good idea, but I feel like in practicality, it does not work.
It doesn't work.
Also, the fact that you could just easily check to see if they took any flights to France in the last couple of months.
Hmm.
Like that would be too obvious,
Right, some real detective work instead of
Right,
just questioning this magician debunker for no
right.
reason.
So while all of this is happening, the four horsemen and Arthur are on a plane, and Arthur is being interviewed by a late night show.
Oh, I also have another question.
Yeah,
How do they get the money to America?
right,
You can't
right.
just show up to an airport with bags full of money.
Millions of dollars in francs,
like
or
there's a
whatever their uh, form of money is.
like there's a certain amount that you have to like declare, and if it's over that, like you will be
Mm-hmm.
arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know
Whatever.
how they physically got millions of dollars.
I don't either.
This is gonna be one of those movies where if we think too much about it, everything just unravels.
Okay.
um, but as that interview is going on, Merritt points out to Henley that she still has feelings for Danny.
Which
Um,
please don't. That man is misogynistic and gross
yes,
and an
yes.
asshole. Like, don't.
Henley, you need to pick better men in your life.
He also brings up Henley's weight like 5 times in this
Yes,
movie.
yes.
Drop him.
Yeah, please. Dylan and Dre are also on a plane, and she questions why Dylan hates magicians, and he says that he doesn't like that they take advantage of people. Danny then gets their group together and kind of gets into it with Merritt about his mentalism and how it's all just guesswork, and he can do the same amount of work that he does if he just tries it. So
Mhm.
Danny tries to guess stuff about Arthur, but gets them wrong every time. Like trying to guess stuff about his family, how he grew up as a child, blah blah blah. Dylan and Dre then arrive in New Orleans to watch the Four Horsemen and keep tabs on them. And Dylan takes a more practical, like investigative approach, wants to track them with. They find out that they can track them with bracelets because I guess Arthur Tressler has them all on like some monitored bracelet kind of deal.
Which that can't be legal.
It can't.
Like, you can't be just tracking your employees 24/7. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It does not.
Why is that even
He tracks the
necessary?
four horsemen and I guess the people that work that stage that night, because you see Danny like scanning workers that are going on stage on their
Why?
like bracelet.
That's not necessary at
It's
all.
not. It's very illegal, I'm feeling.
It has to be illegal.
Hostile work environment.
Hmm.
While Dre looks into Lionel Shrike and basically magic history, and she tries to tell Dylan about it, but he's like, no, you keep that to yourself. Magic's
I
not
don't
real.
care.
These are
Yeah.
people. We're tracking them. Okay.
Even though she was
Um,
onto something, but
she was.
he just did not care.
Um, Thaddeus is filming for his program on the history of magic and an old myth about the Four Horsemen. When Arthur shows up to get him to stop recording, Thaddeus doesn't even seem threatened by him, and he's like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I don't care how much
Hmm.
you want to pay me. You're trying to
Yeah.
ride them up, and I'm trying to take them down."
Yeah.
The Four Horsemen are waiting to do their show that night when Thaddeus shows up and talks to them about the Order of the Eye, but they are not bothered by his threats and how he's like, I know what you guys are doing. I know you're trying to get into the eye, blah, blah, blah. And they're all like, yeah, anyway, we got a show to do tonight, so if you can leave.
Oh yeah. The Order of the Eye is like the Illuminati for magic.
Yeah, it is. It's some higher order where they protect magic and
Even though
they're like
they
the
don't,
best.
even though they don't actually perform magic, like it's all just
Yeah, they're
tricks.
just like they're like the secret keepers of magic.
Yeah.
um so we then see Thaddeus, Dre, and Dylan are in the audience for the show that night. And Dre suggests that Dylan is looking too close at the Four Horsemen and needs to take a step back at the whole picture of what they're doing. As the show starts, the horsemen point out the two agents and basically like try to make fun of them
Hmm.
and ask if their tricks are random or set up to be one big magic trick. Merritt starts one hypnotism trick and grabs a group of people and hypnotizes them to chase down a quarterback. And then later on in the show, like Henley and Merritt do their debunking magic tricks and whatever, and Jack does card tricks.
Which is
Um,
so hilarious. They like debunk the most simple magic tricks you can think of, like
yeah.
putting a rabbit into a box and
Mm-hmm.
making it quote unquote disappear. Like, everyone
It's
knows
a
how that
mirror
works.
box.
Everyone
It's a
knows how
mirror
that
box.
works. Like, you're not teaching us anything new. How did you do the bubble trick? That's what I want to
Yeah.
know.
How did you? And then how did you turn that rabbit into the hat? Come
Yeah,
on. You're not debunking the real things we want to debunk,
right.
okay?
Debunk the real stuff.
Um, for their last act, Merritt starts a trick and picks out three people and tells them, well, and guesses their bank account amount. One of them has $532 in it, and I'm
Yeah,
like, I felt that.
Josefa, baby.
Josefa,
You need to be at home.
ouch.
You do not need to be out right now. $564 in your bank account. You go home.
Ouch.
Go
Go
home.
home, babe.
Go home. Sit down.
You have food in the fridge.
You have food. You have food at home. You have TV at home to entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be here.
No, go home.
Go home.
If this was a gift, then we apologize. But if it wasn't, go home.
Even if it was a gift, you had to spend gas money or
Mm.
some sort of transportation money. You don't need to be spending no money. Go sit on the couch.
Time to entertain ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, and he guesses their bank account amounts, and he tells them that they're all wrong. That they do not have as much money as they think they do,
Or as little. Josephus.
or as little. In the middle of the trick, the group thank and bring up Arthur Tressler, and they do the same trick to him where they say, "Hey, we got your bank account amount," as well, and we're going to show people, and you're actually wrong as well. And when they shine the light on his amount, it starts to decline. And people who are in the audience, their number starts to go up. Essentially, they are robbing him and paying back the people in the audience who were cheated out by his insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
When one audience member actually checks their balance, it turns out to be true. And Dylan freaks out, asking Fuller if it is, and he confirms that it is actually true.
Them having Tressler pay to be robbed is hilarious to me. Like, he paid their salaries for this whole setup, everything, and he was paying to be robbed.
Yep. All in the end, he was paying to be robbed.
This is the level of scamming we all need to aspire to.
Right. We don't want your little your scammer phone calls. We don't want your scam internet or your websites anymore. We want scams that are so big that you get robbed in the middle of a magic show.
Yes. We need
this is the kind of petty and thoughtfulness that we need, okay?
Yes, we need you to get rich people to pay you to scam them.
Mm-hmm. We're not eating them anymore. We're playing with them.
We're playing with them.
We're letting them think that they're doing something great.
Yeah, but
when they're not.
We're redistributing their wealth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, if $70,000 ended up in my bank account, I would be so happy. Like, the level of happiness that would exude from me would be enough to, like, create a second son.
The way my depression would clear, the way my crops would be watered.
Yeah.
The way
the ozone layer would be fixed.
Right. Like, I would suddenly know how to cure cancer. I would know how to get everybody free healthcare. I'd feed everybody in the world, no more world hunger. Like, if I had 70,000 extra dollars, game changer.
Game changing.
Game changer. I'm sorry. Like, and some people were getting more than that. Like, and if I got any more than that, I'd be a new person entirely. The four horsemen then reveal that they got the information from Arthur directly when they were on the plane trying to guess stuff about him. Dylan then goes to arrest them and charges the stage, but that triggers the group that were hypnotized to tackle the quarterback. The horsemen then run as Dre chases after them, and Dylan struggles to get out of the theater. Fuller and his group go out and use the tracker bracelets on the horsemen to get Dylan to chase them down. Out on the street, Mardi Gras is in full swing, and Jack manages to plant something on Dylan as Dre chases after Danny, and when she corners him, lets him go. Dylan continues the chase, but realizes that he has been tracking himself because Jack put the bracelet tracker in his back pocket.
Yep. And he couldn't
later,
feel that giant thing slapping against his leg.
No, he could not. Later that night, Dylan is drinking as the FBI gets dragged on the news for not being able to catch the four horsemen. Specifically, Dylan gets dragged, by the way. And Dre comes to take him back to the apartment, but he doesn't trust her and what she's doing, so he just leaves. Arthur meets with Thaddeus again and tells him that he was used as a bigger part of a trick and offers to double Thaddeus's pay to fully destroy the horsemen. Also, how much money do you still have, man?
I mean, I would like to think that every last dime he had wasn't all in one bank account.
He at least diversified.
So I'm sure he has plenty of other accounts with hundreds of millions more dollars.
That makes me sick. But anyway.
Right? It makes me want to vomit.
Because he had 144 mil in one bank account. Ugh. They should have stolen more from him.
They should have. If it were me, I would have stolen every last dime he had.
I would have left him with like 1 mil and been like, you figure it out.
Figure it out. Like, there's people who never make this in their lifetime. You'll be
Right.
fine.
Right. The fact that we gave away all your money to all these people and they will never have to work a day in their life again. Like, you know what? If we gave everybody 1 mil, they'd be able to make it work. So you will be able to make it
Right?
work.
You'll be able to make it work. Maybe sell this plane that you travel everywhere on.
Right. So Dylan eventually comes back to the apartment and Dre is asleep and he checks up on what she's been researching, which is the Eye of Horus. Dre wakes up and Dylan apologizes for his actions as she apologizes for lying about her role as a researcher and she's not like an actual field agent. Dre tells him about
Why
the
was she
eye.
sent? Like, why
Right.
would she sit there? Like, it still
It
doesn't make
still
any
doesn't
sense.
make sense. Because she could still be a researcher for them and not go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dre tells him about the Eye, which is an elite group of magicians. And as they talk, they kind of share a moment together, but they're like, "Oh no, we're working. We can't do this." Dylan then notices that something up is with his phone, and it has been replaced when Daddy was interrogated in Vegas. And the bug that was in his phone, they leave it so that they can use it to track the Horsemen. The Horsemen are in New York City and are freaking out about what's going on because they've lost their connection into the FBI. They know that they're onto them because of the bug. And as three of them go to leave, they leave Jack to burn the rest of the evidence as the FBI shows up. Dre is forced to be left behind because she does not have jurisdiction. And she's not happy about that.
No.
The FBI swarm into the building as Henley, Danny, and Merritt leave through a trash chute. And
I don't care what's happening. I don't care who's chasing me. I'm not going down a trash chute.
in New York City.
For one reason, it's nasty. Like, nasty, gross, disgusting, horrifying. The things that people throw down trash chutes. Secondly, there is no guarantee that there's going to be a soft landing.
Yeah, true.
At
What
all.
if they emptied the bottom that day and you're just landing feet first into a metal box?
What if they emptied it? What if there hasn't been that much trash this week?
Or what if somebody just threw away a bunch of glass bottles and you're just landing feet first on a bunch of glass bottles?
What if someone threw some stuff that was so heavy it flipped the can at the bottom over, and so now you're just going to hit the side of the can.
Right. What's going on here, y'all?
Would never do that. I'm so sorry.
As this is happening, Arthur checks up on Thaddeus, who is tracking the four horsemen, not subtly, by the way. He's got like camera people sticking outside of his SUV. Yeah. He's literally a little bit like 20 feet behind the FBI agents.
Yeah.
Just taking pictures and video of what's going on. Dylan and Fuller get to the horseman's apartment, and Jack is still in there. And he cleverly fights his way out of the apartment, and the evidence of their like 3 beginning shows sit out in the open.
So many paper cuts. Many paper cuts.
Also, the fact that Fuller got stuck in the garbage disposal.
How strong is that garbage disposal?
No, seriously.
Like,
and the fact that it kept going.
It kept going, and it was like pulling him back. I was like, how strong is this garbage? Like, they must have some like industrial, like restaurant grade.
Right. Like, what are y'all New Yorkers putting down your garbage disposals that you need something that strong?
I guess they need them strong enough to kill the rats.
Oh. It's not a garbage disposal at that point. It's a meat grinder.
It's a meat grinder, yeah.
So Dylan chases after Jack as Fuller eventually gets free because I guess his gun was in the sleeve the whole time and he shoots his way out.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. The agent that's watching Dre gets an update and she steals a random person's car and gets Dylan. as Jack drives off, and Dylan sees Thaddeus as he goes to chase after Jack. They have a high-speed chase that ends up on national TV, and they end up on the 59th Street Bridge. On the bridge, it looks like Jack is about to get away, but he flips his car multiple times, and as Dylan goes to save him, the car catches on fire. But he's able to get the papers that Jack had stolen from the apartment, but not Jack himself. Later, the news reports on Jack as the rest of the four horsemen watch. The papers are gone through, and Fuller gives Dylan a phone with Thaddeus on the line, and he plants the idea that Dre is actually there to distract him on his investigation. Because he's like, she lied about what she was doing, and then now she's like trying to give
Okay.
you this information about the magicians, blah, blah,
Here's
blah.
my thing. Even if she was, he's not listening to her. So
Yeah, so what's
so
the
what's
point?
the point? Anytime she brings anything up and then she's usually right, he just ignores her.
Mm-hmm. She's all like, here's this really important information that can help with the investigation. And he's like, great, I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Like, I know that Thaddeus doesn't know that that's what's going on, but like, why was Dylan so shook?
Yeah. He was like, you know what? That makes so much sense.
Right, like he didn't trust her in the first place. Maybe Dylan was like, you know what? He confirmed my fears.
Hmm.
And so now I'm gonna act all prissy about it. uh Dylan then gets an update that the paperwork that Jack had linked to another investigation that was currently happening, and that the three horsemen, the rest of the horsemen, their next target is a vault. Well, a vault in Queens with a safe in it. Dre is upset again with Dylan's treatment of her, but Dylan is just as mad with how the case is being taken away from him and how she might be lying to him. And so he's just like, I'm not gonna like take you on anymore. Like you're basically dismissed from this case. The three horsemen then make a video honoring Jack and say that they have to finish the trick that they started because like this is what he would have wanted, blah blah blah.
Where did they get this technology from? Like, projections this good do not exist still, but they definitely didn't exist in 2013.
I don't know. I mean, like I feel like most of this stuff with this trick, especially like in the beginning when they had like the plans in front of them, I feel like even that was a little ahead of their time.
It was way ahead of their time.
So like, but y'all magicians out there, what are y'all hiding from us?
Right? Is there like some secret underground magician like technology ring going on?
Right? Is there like a magicians IT group? Like
Yeah.
y'all got the cure for cancer down there? Y'all
Right,
got a way
what's
to
someone give me the hookup.
right? What's going? I just want a glimpse. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just want to know.
I promise not to tell
I
anyone.
just want to be nosy.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just a
Yeah, I just want to
curious
know.
person.
I'm not here to sell your secrets to anybody. I just want to know what's going on.
Right? Like, who am I going to tell?
Yeah, right.
Look,
So the FBI check the warehouse where the vault is supposed to be and find it empty. And Agent Evans is triggered by a word, and they decide to follow the safe that was supposed to be taken. I don't know how he or when he was hypnotized, by the
right?
way,
When was he hypnotized?
but he was hypnotized.
Like, did he ever interact with them at any point?
I don't think so. I don't know. But they see that the safe is about to be taken, and they're like, let's just follow it to its location so that we can catch the horsemen in the act. Dylan and Fuller then watch the video that the horsemen posted and are suspicious that the vault is going where they say that their last show is happening and that something else is going to be going on, but Agent Cowan doesn't care. Also, I hope I'm saying that name right. The vault shows up to the location the last show is going on as other people show up as well, and it's just a huge abandoned building. Thaddeus shows up to the vault. Well, shows up to where the vault has been taken, and Dylan thinks he's got him. but when they open the safe, it's just full of balloon animals.
Mm-hmm.
The show starts as the FBI swarm the area looking for the group. The group say that they are going to make their last trick, make things right for the crimes that they have committed. Dylan goes to follow the rest of the FBI, but is dragged away by Dylan, who believes they are going the wrong way. As Merritt, Danny, and Henley go up to their last location, he says what a crazy year it's been. And Henley agrees, saying that she hopes it's all worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Cowan thinks he's got the three of them, but it's just mannequins where they've shown up on the building. And the three show up elsewhere. Dylan and Dre find the filming equipment that they used for their holograms, and they go to the rooftop where they get close but appear behind them and disappear in a rain of money on the crowd when they try to pursue them.
Yep.
The three are then seen running away on the back of the building. And when Dre is proved to be right, Dylan apologizes for how he's been acting, and they kiss, and she walks away.
So random.
Honestly, when I watch this, every time I watch this, whatever romance they try to stick between them, it just never makes sense, and it
It
always makes me a
never
little angry.
made sense. It made no sense.
It makes me a little angry. Like, why?
Like, it came out of nowhere.
It doesn't need to be done. We don't need a romance in every movie, okay, guys? Gosh.
They also had no chemistry together, but that's just...
They did not. They
a
literally
whole other thing.
argue the whole movie and distrust each other the whole movie, but somehow there's a spark.
Mm-hmm.
Fuller then appears to Dylan, and they find out that the money is fake. And when we see Thaddeus unlock his car, the real money comes pouring out, and the police arrive to take him in. The three horsemen then go to Times Square and see that their show has been broadcasted to basically every screen in Times Square. We then see Thaddeus is in a cell when Dylan goes to see him, and Thaddeus is convinced that he's been framed. Thaddeus then tries to trade for information to get out and explained that they used simple magic tricks to conceal the safe, like they did with the bunny. They just put a huge piece of glass to make it look like the room is empty. And Jack, who was a mannequin in the car that crashed.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a mannequin. They used a body from the morgue.
Yeah, yes, excuse me. They used a cadaver from the morgue. So it made it look like Jack died in the fire, but he's been alive the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's the one that gets the safe out.
They pulled a Fast Five. Yeah, they pulled a Fast Five where they like switched the cars.
They switched the cars out. There was a car in front of the bus that Merritt was driving.
Mm-hmm.
And they somehow perfectly timed it for Jack to swerve out of the way and then the other car to go in and crash itself.
Yeah.
Dylan then questions him why they never kept the money. And he said that he looked into Shrike, and he says that it is all connected to him in his death. How his Shrike's death was linked to both the Credit Republic and Tressler Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The four horsemen are reunited in Central Park at Shrike's tree with the car that's in it. And when they all connect the cards that they got in the beginning, it glows. And when they wave it over the tree, it starts the carousel nearby.
That was so dumb, Kelly. These cards literally flew out of these people's hands and then formed one card.
Mm-hmm.
That had a completely different like design on it and was kind of like translucent.
Mm-hmm.
And then they waved it over the like card that was in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it somehow turned on the carousel. I was like, what?
The IT/gadgets section of the eye, y'all are killing it out here.
Y'all are killing it.
I just want to know how y'all are doing it. You know what I mean? Y'all got like Inspector Gadget level stuff out here. Dylan says he has a theory on how the eye only links with the best magicians and how Thaddeus wasn't picked. and how he vowed to tear down every other magician. But Thaddeus is like, nah, you got that all wrong. Um, Thaddeus doesn't know who it could be that set him up, but as he's talking, Dylan disappears and ends up on the outside of his cell.
Hmm.
Thaddeus then makes the connection that Dylan has been pulling the strings the whole time, and he admits that he has been waiting to take him down and wants him to rot in jail, wondering how he never figured it out. We then see that Dylan was the one watching the whole time. He's the one that brought all the four horsemen together and shows up at the carousel to speak with the four horsemen and let them know that they are now part of the Eye, and how
Dil-
incredible it was to see four separate acts become one.
Dylan's setting all of this up because his daddy did something really dumb and ended up dying. It is
Yes.
so funny.
Yeah.
Like, he literally sat there and blamed everyone else for his father deciding to go into a um what is it called? Wow, I completely lost the
Safe?
word. A safe at the middle, at the like the bottom of like a lake.
He did say that
Eh,
it was faulty though.
Okay, like that.
I'm
Yeah,
trying I'm trying to justify it.
I'm sorry, I can't justify. Like, sure, it was faulty because safes aren't meant to go underwater. I'm
True.
like,
True.
I'm so sorry they weren't thinking about your father deciding to do this when they were making their saves. Like, they literally thought that they were literally just making these saves for money. They weren't making them to go at the bottom of lakes.
Yeah, true.
And
True,
then
true.
if I was an insurance handler, I also wouldn't pay out the money. Like, be real, Kelly. If you were an insurance adjuster and you received a claim for a man who put himself at the bottom of a lake, would you pay it out? I wouldn't. I would be like, no, that was dumb. Like, why did he do that? Like, I'm not paying for that.
True, 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 true.
Like, Dylan just needed to like sit back for a minute and just like realize that this is all his father's fault, to be completely honest.
He needed to go to therapy.
He needed to
Talk
go
it
to
out.
therapy. Like, if he needed like a true friend, like sit him down and be like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
hey, I think you're doing a little too much."
Because I don't know how long he spent with this plan, but it
Oh,
sounds
it
like
had to
he
be
spent
years.
years.
It had
He
to be
spent he
years
yeah.
because
Somebody should have been
he had to
like,
get into the FBI.
mm-hmm,
He had to find people to execute the like magician part of the plan.
mm-hmm,
He had to create the plan for them to like execute. It
mm-hmm.
had to have taken a good 10, 15 years to come up with all
Minimum,
this
probably.
minimum.
Because you have to qualify to be an agent. You have to get through training, and then he had to prove himself to be a good agent to be assigned to this case.
Yeah.
And then he had to find the four magicians. He had to rig an apartment. He had to set up this whole plan as well, the plan to
Yes.
to get Thaddeus. And
Yes.
so at minimum 15, 20
15,
years
20 years.
of his life. The way, if I had that much dedication to get something done, I would be a better person.
Yeah.
Like, this man could have done anything, and he's all like, you know what? I'm so petty and angry that I need to
Yeah.
take one person down and spend half of my life doing
Yeah.
it.
I'm going to take I'm going to try to take one super rich person down, but only really take just like a fraction of their money, and then this other man I'm just going to completely take down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Insane. Insane.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. um, we then see Dre on her favorite bridge reading the newspaper. And when she finds a New York Times piece in the middle of it, it shows the death of Shrike as Dylan shows up. He explains how it's all connected with Shrike and how he was trapped in a safe that was faultily made. Dre makes the connection that Shrike is Dylan's dad, and how he's been planning this for years, and how he could not plan for her in this whole thing.
Hmm.
He asks if she'll turn him in, but she says she won't, and they decide to lock their secret on the bridge and throw the key in the river.
Yeah. Also, that bridge does not exist anymore.
It does not, no.
A lot. I was watching this movie and I was like, "Wow, this was only like 10 years ago, and a lot of stuff doesn't exist anymore."
Exist, yeah, they took all the locks off.
Like the lock thing is gone. When they were in Times Square, they had like a poster for like Mamma Mia, a poster
Mm-hmm.
for Phantom of the Opera. I was like,
Yeah,
none of those shows are on Broadway
Phantom ended
anymore.
on Broadway this year. Yeah.
I was like, wow,
It's all different at
it's
this
all
point.
different now. It's only been ten
Yeah.
years.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Okay, are you ready for some movie facts?
Yes.
So, the card trick at the beginning of the movie is authentic. There is no editing. It's known as a card force, where the magician makes the unsuspecting audience member pick a predetermined card. The audience member believes they have picked a random card, which is reinforced by the magician reshuffling the deck several times, but it is just misdirection.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Isla Fisher has explained in interviews that her character, Henley, is germophobic, which is why she is seen wearing gloves throughout the whole movie.
That was literally never explained in this movie, so random, but okay.
Yeah, random, but okay. Um, and then my last movie facts are my favorite game with Jordan. Guess who? Because the most of the movie facts for this movie aren't that great. It's mostly just this location was used for this part of the movie, and blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna make you guess who is considered for the role of Henley.
Henley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was 2013.
It's not who you would expect
Okay, what's like the age range I'm looking at here?
at the time of filming.
Yeah.
Oof, let me check. Okay. When were they born? What? Okay. This came out in 2013.
Hmm.
Okay. So they
Because I
were
could always just say Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like Sarah
no.
Michelle Gellar is
They were 28 when this movie came out.
28.
So like 26, 27 during filming.
Um,
Have they been in any other? Okay, they were. We've done one movie with them. She is one
hmm,
of the main characters of one of the movies we've done,
hmm.
or two of the movies we've done.
Um, okay. What's her name? Kristen. I want not Stewart. What's the other one?
Dunst?
Kristen Dunst.
No,
No. Kristen Stewart.
no, no,
Mila Jovovich.
no,
Scarlett Johansson.
no. We've done two movies with them.
Um.
One of the movies she was in with Megan Fox.
Oh. I don't know her name.
Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Amanda Seyfried was considered for Henley.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
give.
have no strong opinions either way on that
Yeah,
one.
like I can kind of see her in that role.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna give you the rest of them because I don't know like two of these names. Okay, so originally they weren't planning on a female character for the Four Horsemen, so they were just thinking of four guys. So they
Okay.
were thinking Philip Seymour Hoffman.
You don't know who Philip Seymour Hoffman is?
I don't know names, I know faces.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is kind of old, but like so is
Okay.
Woody Allen. So okay.
Well, they were thinking an older cast anyway before they went to a younger age group.
Okay.
So it was Philip Seymour Hoffman, Jim Carrey.
Mm,
Yeah,
Philip
unless
Seymour
they were
Hoffman
what?
is in the Hunger Games. He plays God. Who does he play?
Is it Snow?
No, 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 not Snow. He plays the like head game maker in the last Hunger Game and like Catching Fire. Who
Oh,
Plutarch. He plays Plutarch.
Plutarch. Oh, okay, okay. I know who that is
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Um, Hugh Grant, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Colin Firth.
I would like to see maybe Colin Firth and Hugh Grant.
I could see Hugh Grant and Colin Firth. I don't Jim Carrey unless he
Jim
was
Carrey
playing like
is
Merritt.
Jim Carrey is a weird choice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I bet you they were considering him for Merritt though. Um, and the last person they were considering for the role of Dylan Rhodes was Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's kind of a Jake Gyllenhaal role. I could see that, I
Yeah, I
guess.
can I can kind of see it myself, but I like
Jesse
what's his
Eisenberg.
name?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh no, Jesse Eisenberg was Danny. We're talking about
Oh, you said Dylan?
Dylan, yeah,
Oh,
the FBI agent.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. That would have been Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Mm.
Mm,
So that are the movie facts. So here comes the question:
hmm
Is this movie iconic?
I gave it a yeah. Yeah.
Same. I like this movie.
I enjoy
I
it a
like
lot.
I like I like movies that are like where they do a trick and then like things have to be explained because like you didn't think it was going to be a certain way to begin
hmm
with. I love those kind of movies.
Yeah.
So I'm always down to watch this movie whenever it comes on.
I do enjoy this movie a lot.
But yeah, very iconic. We love to see it.
Yeah.
What are your recommendations for this week, Jordan?
I have three and they're all over the place. Like
Oh, great.
you're gonna be like, what? What?
Great. All right.
My first one is Careless Whisper by George Michael.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, great song, but like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I listened to the radio in the morning, like only in the morning,
Uh huh.
and I was like flipping through stations and like there was an 80s station and they were playing Careless Whisper and I love that song, so I listened to it and I was like,
It's a great song.
that's gonna be one of my recommendations this week. My second one is Angel by Halle Bailey. Great
Ah,
song.
yes.
Great song. She's a great singer. Very
Mm-hmm.
very siren like. I see why she was cast as a mermaid. Um and my last one is Notorious Thug by the Notorious B.I.G. featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I love how your first recommendation is Careless Whisper by
hmm
George Michael, and then your last one is
Is
Victorious by Notorious B.I.G.
Notorious Thug by the Notorious B.I.G. featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yes,
No,
yes.
beautiful. What a great transition.
It's a dichotomy, Kelly.
Yes, I
I,
see that now.
I love a variety of music.
True. Very true, very true, very true.
There is a slow ballad on here. There is an R&B like mid-tempo song, and there is a rap song on here. Love that for me.
We love the diversity.
The diversity.
Yeah, we love to see it. Thank you for
hmm
that.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay, so I have just two recommendations. My first one is Baby Be Mine by Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
I think it's one of those like I feel like a lesser known song on Thriller, but still a really good song. I feel like I don't hear Baby Be Mine anywhere really.
I
So
need
yeah,
to
go check
do
out
a
that song.
I need to do a
Huh?
Thriller re-listen. It's been a long time.
Have you done a Michael Jackson album listen?
I haven't done a full Michael Jackson album
Okay.
listen, but the I think there's two albums I've listened to in full, and
Okay.
it was Thriller and something else. It was Thriller,
Was that
and
one of the new the earlier
Dangerous.
album?
Thriller
Okay.
and Dangerous. Those are the two I've
Okay.
listened to
Not bad.
all the
I
way
know
through.
his like discography is huge.
He has like 7 albums, maybe even more.
I'm surprised he didn't do Off the Wall because Off the Wall is amazing.
Oh, he has way more albums than I thought. 4 of these albums I've never heard of.
Oh, which ones?
I thought Off the Wall was his first album. It's not.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's
It's
not.
not. Okay. hmm I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do a full
maybe we
listen.
need to do a full listen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do a full listen because even two of these like more quote unquote recent ones I've never heard of.
The more recent ones. What are you talking about?
Like Blood on the Dance Floor, I've never heard. Oh, it's a remix album. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say some of the albums on his like discography on like Spotify and stuff like that. A lot of them are like remixes or anniversary editions.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Yeah.
like comb through this and like get the actual amount. But I think I'm gonna do a Michael full listen through.
hmm I mean, Dangerous has got some bops on there too. Remember the Time?
I love Remember the Time.
Oh, I love that song. Ugh.
Um, we all know I love Invincible. I love Butterflies, my favorite song on that album.
You and your butterfly songs, bro.
I love Butterfly songs. Okay, Kelly, what's your other recommendation?
Okay. So my second recommendation is like a lo-fi I don't know like what the right term is, but it's like an R&B-ish type mix with like jazz-y elements. Um it's the album is called I hope I'm saying this right. Lotte Corte or something like that. It sounds Italian. It's by I St. James. It's a smaller album, but all the songs are really good on it. I love like the lo-fi beats for like when I'm stressed out at work and I need something to just like play in the background that won't annoy me. So
Mm,
yeah, a lot of his stuff is really good. Go check it out.
cool. Cool. Well, thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We have a Twitter and Instagram. They're both at SY2II Podcast. And also, don't
Mm-hmm.
forget to send us your movie requests and your movie stories to our email, sy2iipodcast@gmail.com. What's your favorite part of this movie? What's your favorite trick? Do you know how the piranha scene, like, trick works?
Right? Yeah.
If you
Do
do, please let
you?
us know. That one still has me stumped. Like, I completely don't understand how they did that. So I need someone to tell me.
Yes.
Also, don't forget to share us with your friends and your family. Subscribe to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts with 5 stars.
Please.
Thank you. Everyone have a good week. For us, we are T minus 18 days as of the day of our recording from
Are we
Beyonce.
that close?
We are. We are.
Oh my gosh.
I
We're
can't
under
wait.
20 days.
We're under 20 days. I
Oh
can't wait.
my gosh. I can't wait to see you guys.
Ugh, I can't wait to see
We've
Beyonce.
got we're booked and busy for that whole
We
weekend.
are booked and busy for that weekend.
I feel like I feel like I just keep finding stuff and I'm just like, y'all want to do this? And everyone's like, yeah, why not?
Like, I literally don't know when we're going to have time to go tubing.
No, I know, because like my mom was like, so what are y'all doing that weekend? And I told her and she's like, so like, what are you guys going to do during the day? And I like thought about it. I'm like, oh, are we even gonna be like alive enough to do things during the day?
Probably not. We're probably gonna wake up. We're probably gonna wake up at like noon every day.
No, seriously, she's like, so you guys might wake up at like 10, 11. Because she's all like, what are y'all doing Thursday? What are you doing Friday? And she's like, so y'all will probably wake up at like 10, 11 that day. And she's like, and then y'all need to be early for both of those concerts, probably. I'm like, yeah, you're right, actually.
Actually, for the Beyonce concert, we do not need to be early. She has
Oh, we
not been.
don't.
She has not been starting until like 9 o'clock. Like we do not need to be early at
Oh,
all.
okay, because I was all thinking like, parking and whatever.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I
I've been
mean,
keeping track of the concert. She has not been hitting the stage till like 8:45, 9 o'clock. We
okay,
we do not
okay,
need to
so we
be
got
early
time.
for Beyonce.
We got time. All right, but yeah,
Yeah,
we won't have enough time. We won't have energy for tubing, probably.
probably unless we just sit there and just fall asleep in the tubes.
At that point, we can just fall asleep by the pool out here, bro.
Yeah, we just go to your pool and just fall asleep.
Fall asleep. Yeah, okay. That's honestly very fair.
Yeah, yeah. But everyone
Uh,
have a good week. Stay iconic.
yes, stay iconic, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.